Dr. McGilchrist writes of the schizophrenic that detail triumphs at the expense of the whole, and there is no proper hierarchy of attention. Every detail stands out as equally important, demanding attention in its own right. Similar to an autistic patient's inability to grasp the gestalt or perceptual whole, the schizophrenic perceives through constituent parts. One schizophrenic patient account says, "I have to put it together in my head. If I look at my watch, I see the watch, face, hands, and so on. Then I have got to put them together to get it into one piece." Another patient says, "It's like a photograph that's torn in bits and put together again. If somebody moves or speaks, everything I see disappears quickly, and I have to put it together." This fragmentation extends to the loss of the sense of self. Many schizophrenics describe a loss of boundaries between the self and the world. Austrian psychiatrist Paul Schilder reported a patient to say that, "I do not exist anymore. Everything pulls me apart. The skin is the only possible means of keeping the different pieces together, and there is no connection between the different parts of the body." Sometimes, the schizophrenic patient starts to think they are someone else, and lose the intuitive sense of ownership of their own body and their own actions. Boundaries blur. The body becomes distant, possibly fused with others, and is vulnerable, while the psyche is invulnerable and isolated. The body is often described as mechanical, dead, or as being controlled by something or someone else. British psychiatrist John Cutting quotes examples of patients claiming there is a machine in their ear, a bag of petrol in their body, or pieces of metal in their legs. A patient of Swiss psychiatrist Karl Jaspers says, "I am only an automaton, a machine. I am dead. I feel I am absolutely nothing. I am not alive. I cannot move." Schizophrenics often not only see themselves, but also other people as non-living. Dr. McGilchrist estimates in his experience that if the right questions are asked, as many as half of schizophrenic patients might describe themselves in some terms as mechanical or being controlled. The French dramatist Antonin Artaud, who suffered from schizophrenia, described his own experience with the disease as a living death. The schizophrenic is not without logic, but rather is left with nothing but logic. Yet logic, ultimately, is entirely structural. American psychologist Louis Sass observed that the most deluded individuals are the most logical. Not burdened by common sense or a presence of reality, the schizophrenic uses logic without bounds and jumps to conclusions too fast and in light of disconfirmatory evidence, as if they have a need for closure and cannot tolerate uncertainty or ambiguity. Louis Sass points out that one particular patient's constant need to think was, however, accompanied by a constant inability to understand. One schizophrenic patient self-reflectively says, "I don't feel anything, I don't feel things anymore. I don't have normal sensations. I make up for this lack of sensations with reason." The schizophrenic adopts a pseudo-philosophical manner of speaking. Words refer to other words. Theory trumps embodied experience. The schizophrenic creates an artificial mapping of the world and, in a way, attempts to live within this map. Living things are replaced with abstractions, similar to Plato's analogy of the cave. The abstract becomes what is real to the schizophrenic in place of what actually is real. John Cutting notes the schizophrenic is concerned with essences rather than particular people or things, with names and signifiers detached from what they signify. Swiss psychiatrist Ludwig Binswanger writes, "A person loses his individuality and becomes typical of a certain class of people. Engagement with real persons is replaced by a utopian interest in abstract, humanitarian values." One schizophrenic patient says, "I love mankind, but I detest humans." And Dr. McGilchrist writes, "The loss of vital contact with reality leads to a sense of simultaneous omnipotence and impotence, grandiosity and cosmic insignificance. A strange and tenuous disposition to have."